Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day life. Let's start with the video.
Between the ages of 12 and 17, my mother was moving me from one psychologist therapist to another, claiming they weren't a good fit for me. I found out years after that she was offering them cash under the table to tell her what I was saying and probe me on particular issues she had covered up to determine how much I knew or suspected. When they refused, she switched them out. I found out a few years ago that the last guy she took me to, ages 15 and a half onward, a psychiatrist she left me with for over a year, not only did he take the extra money to tell her what I was sharing, which I kinda already knew, but the medication he put me on was at her request. There was no medical reason for me to be on any medication. And on top of that, the medication mix I was prescribed was a no-no to combine due to serious counteracting. The medication had a demonstratively harmful effect on my general health, with side effects I still suffer to this day. I lawyered up, gathered overwhelming and indisputable proof, and started the legal process to sue the living hell out of him. Realistically, conservatively, we are looking at a mid-high seven-figure amount. A few weeks ago, he had a heart attack and died. I ran to, or was ambushed by, his widow recently. She was remarkably collected, numb, and informed me that she did not have the mental bandwidth to handle this lawsuit as she is grieving and taking care of the kids, 2 kids between 8 to 12 years old, I believe, as he was the sole breadwinner. She also let me know that they did not have the ability to pay out the amount the lawsuit would probably settle for, and she would have to drain college funds and sell their family house, cabin house, and a place that houses her parents, leaving them, herself, and the kids homeless. That's 5 people. She begged me to accept a much lower settlement offer and not rob her kids of not only their father, but also their childhood home, all of their memories, and their future. Here's where I could be the asshole. I told her no, nothing else, looked in her eyes, and just said no. From what my lawyer advised me, you do not engage in conversations with people you're legally opposing. I started walking away and she teared up, saying his heart attack was from the stress of the lawsuit, asking if I really want to punish little children for what their father did. I told her, do not contact me again, and got out of the store. Knowing their situation, I am now having a moral dilemma. Even at 7 figures, I will not miss this amount, but I could do good with it. I have also lost my father young, so I know how devastating it could be to lose my home as well. But as much sympathy as I have for his family, it is in my torment that he had built their lives. And not just mine, as we have discovered. My lawyer, fiancé, and family encouraged me to let it play out. Am I the asshole if I do not settle for less? Edit. Won't his insurance cover this incident? Most medical malpractice policies do not cover liability that arises from criminal acts and inappropriate alteration of medical records, both of which he did and are included in the lawsuit, so his policy does not cover everything. Edit. Will you also sue your mother? There will probably be legal action taken as well against my mother, but for now I am taking one lawsuit at a time as they are expensive and mentally draining. Suing the psychiatrist was much easier than suing my mother, so we started there. After this is done, we will explore options. Not the asshole. His familial wealth and ability to own all that he owned and create the college funds and the living situation his family has or had were practically built on his unethical behavior. They drew the benefits of his unethical actions, let them draw the consequences. If they have homeowner's insurance, and if he had malpractice insurance, some of those may help cover the settlement. The malpractice insurance may be able to wiggle itself out from any liability because he was doing something illegal, but other insurances may help. There's only one asshole here, and it's a father. I'm the lawyer and know jack all about estates and debts. That said, I'm curious how she expects to pay taxes on these properties if she has no income. Regardless, I will say though, that my moral compass is telling me you would not be the asshole for moving forward with your suit. You were wronged in multiple senses of that term. The only thing I would have done differently is walked away without a word. Also, screw the lady for blaming his death on the stress from your lawsuit. It's literally just a longer and roundabout way to say it's your fault. F that noise. Here's the next story. I, 27F, have been with my girlfriend, 26F, for 4 years now, but I have known her for longer and we are in a happy relationship. However, she does sadly have a bad trait of disrespecting staff and people with lower income in general. Don't get me wrong, she's great, but that's her flaw, I guess. For the background, my girlfriend grew up rich and her mother has her own successful business, and her father is a judge in an extremely high position. After she had finished school, she wanted to study law just like her dad. Both her parents studied at Harvard and now had in general very good contacts to many people in charge there. When my girlfriend decided that she wanted to go to Harvard too, she made her parents pull some strings, which definitely contributed to her getting accepted after all. I want to note that I have absolutely no problem with this. If she gets a chance to go to the university of her dreams, why wouldn't she take it? Now, a little over 2 years ago, when it came to actually finding a job, writing applications, and going to job interviews, she was very nervous about it, and her dad pulled some strings again on court to make the process easier and less stressful for her, which worked out excellently due to his good reputation and high position. Now we have both finished university, got our careers going, and moved in together. But lately, when we were in the car, she started ranting again about how much it annoys her when people complain about low pay they get, since it's their fault that they are too lazy to get a better job. Then I said, I don't think you should judge other people's situations as you don't know their backstories, and you gotta keep in mind that not everyone was as privileged as you. She gave me furious eyes and asked me what I meant. I explained that her parents definitely contributed to her success, and that not everyone was as lucky as her. She began freaking out, claiming that I said that she was stupid and wouldn't be anywhere in life without her parents' help, even though what I said was nothing like that. I told her that I would never think of her as stupid, and that it takes a lot of work to get through university and to get a good job, just that the jump was easier for her than to some others. But now she hasn't spoken to me for days, and her friends told me that I was an ass for destroying her self-conception. And I feel bad because I really didn't want to hurt her, so am I the asshole? Not the asshole. She sounds like a snob, and that she needs even more doses of reality about other people's lives. On a side note, interesting that you're not bothered by the fact that she had her parents pull strings to get into Harvard. I am. By your description, she already has a ton of advantages in life. I don't begrudge her for any of those. But she's apparently not even content with that. She had to elbow her way into a highly competitive school, not based on merit, but based on connections, which means she probably pushed out someone else who doesn't have her connections. Frankly, I think that is worse than anything else she said to you. Not the asshole. Laughing my ass out. I grew up similar to your girlfriend. Maybe not as privileged, but certainly with enough of an advantage that made a difference, helping me to get where I am today. And I am thankful. I was so lucky to get that. And I recognize that not everyone gets that kind of head start. And so I do my part to help those who are not as fortunate as I've been. Middle-class parents, top-tier schools, no student loans, hand-me-down cars, a safety net there my whole life. Holy shiz. It doesn't make me dumb. It doesn't mean I didn't work hard to get where I am, but come on. I literally had a leg up. And sounds like your girlfriend had even more of a leg up. It's really sad that she can't recognize this. Not the asshole. People who look down on and talk shiz about other people less fortunate than they are not good people. She's just been good to you so far because you haven't given her a reason to look down on you yet. She has zero experience in the real world without daddy's help. But that's no excuse for her disgusting lack of empathy. If she's ugly to the people serving her, that's who she really is inside. Next story. I'm 25, my boyfriend is 35, and we have been together for almost exactly 3 years. It's a funny coincidence. Both of our birthdays and our anniversary, the day we met, all happen in the same week. This year, we decided he would organize a surprise for my birthday. I would organize a surprise for his birthday. And then for our anniversary, we would go out together for a nice dinner to celebrate. We discussed the budget in advance, and we agreed that we would split the cost of the dinner. It was a set tasting menu, so we knew the exact price ahead of time. My birthday did not go well. My boyfriend lied to me about taking the day off of work and kept disappearing to the bathroom to answer emails and make calls when we were at a museum together. I didn't ask or expect him to take the day off. I'd have been fine doing something in the evening. Then, for my present, he gave me a pastry made of a specific ingredient that I'm allergic to, so I couldn't eat it. Then he left at 8 p.m. because he wanted to watch a football game. So I ended up spending my birthday night alone. The next day I told him I felt like he'd given zero thought to my birthday and made me feel like I was a burden on him. He just said he'd done his best, and I need to learn to be grateful when other people try. His birthday went off without any issue. I had specialty food and wine shipped in from his home country, got his favorite childhood recipes from his grandmother, and spent several days preparing dinner built around his preferences and dietary requirements. He loved it. Then came our anniversary. We agreed in advance to split the bill, but by then I was hoping that he'd offer to cover it, not because of the money, but as a gesture of apology for how my birthday went. At the end of dinner, I asked if he wanted to split. He replied, yeah, but it would look weird if we ask for separate checks, since this is a nice place, so I'll pay here and you can transfer me the money afterwards. I honestly saw red. When the waitress came over with the bill, I said, we'll actually be splitting? She asked me how we wanted to split, and I said I'd pay for the wine and my food. So in total, I paid for about 70% of the bill. My boyfriend just shrugged and paid for the remaining amount. As soon as we left, he said I humiliated him and acted like a spoiled brat and he couldn't change the past. And I need to learn to move on when I'm annoyed. I said my issue wasn't about changing the past, but number one, he hadn't even properly apologized for my birthday or tried to make up for it in any way. Number two, he cared more about the restaurant staff thinking that he was a big spender, treating me to fancy dinner, when I'd actually be paying for half of the meal. He said I'm the asshole because we had agreed to split the bill, so I had no right to be annoyed about it. Am I the asshole? Edit. There are so many comments that I can't reply to all of them, so hopefully an edit is okay for the sub-rules. I just wanted to thank you all for your judgments, but most of all for your advice. I feel kind of stupid. Yes, there has been a pattern of this behavior for years, but I guess I just never paid attention because I was 22 when we started dating, and I was used to 4 years of cheap university guys. But I'm starting to realize that it's not really acceptable, and this relationship might not be the best option for me. Thank you again for all the advice. It sounds cheesy, but this post might end up genuinely changing my life. Not the asshole, but what are you doing with this guy? He showed you how much he values you. I could maybe excuse the work email, but to ignore you and watch football after dinner is inexcusable. His effort and bar is very low. You're 25 and you have the whole world ahead of you. In the next 5 years, he will be 40 and still be set in his ways while you will be 30. I highlight this because those two age groups have different mindsets. I saw this with my loved ones and it doesn't end well. Not the asshole. I think you have been in this relationship 2 years and 9 months longer than you should have been. To be clear, I do think that we all should learn to be more grateful for what we have in general regardless of how big or small, cheap or expensive something is. That is not the case with your situation, however. Your boyfriend is using the idea of gratitude and altruism to gaslight you. He doesn't want to have to put in as much effort and care for you, therefore you should be happy just accepting whatever it is that he does. If you don't accept it, then he gets to paint you as selfish and ungrateful, and I'm sorry, but that's manipulative behavior. If he doesn't make a true honest attempt to be more considerate of you, I would gently recommend that you re-evaluate this relationship. You really are deserving of better. Good luck, OP! I would say not the asshole. I fully understand that it was not about the materialistic aspect of it. However, he had ample time to prepare your surprise for your birthday, and the least he could have done is take the day off and spend it with you. On a side note, and apologies for sounding harsh, but after 3 years, you would think your boyfriend knows what you're allergic to. It's almost as if it was weaponized incompetence. Here's the next story. So, this is stupid, but I swear to God I am telling the truth. I have receipts if you need them. For context, we have a pretty lax work environment at my job, and I love my coworkers. I value their opinions, and I have no problems with accommodating them at all. I have a weird complex about hurting people's feelings, and this has bothered me way more than it should. When I first started my job, around a year and a half ago, I would keep my pens in my lab coat, and they would disappear constantly. I'd argue that that's what I get for leaving my pens out, but I also think it's appropriate to want to keep my pen throughout my shift at least. I was joking with one of my coworkers and labeled one of my pens to say, "Eat this, pen stealer." And we laughed to find out it was our center manager who thought it was hilarious. I've kept my pen in my scrub since then, and I haven't lost it to anyone yet. But now, I let my friend borrow it for her nighttime shift, and she left it in a drawer to return to me when I come to work in the morning. I was supposed to work the next day, but our center closed for bad weather until Friday, and I was off this weekend. One of my coworkers found my pen and scratched the label off this weekend, and I was really concerned because I didn't know she had been upset by it. So I talked to her today, and she told me that my pen was unprofessional, truth, in the way, truth, and that nobody gets to have their own pens, WTF. She said if she saw any of my pens, she was going to take them and take their labels off. I told her I didn't mind censoring or even getting rid of them if she had just told me. And I don't mind if it really bothers her. But she was not budging on messing up my pens. Now I'm pissed off. And in a moment of rage, I went to the bathroom and ordered 300 customized pens that say, "You suck, pen stealer," and "We live in a society." My thought is that I can give them to whoever wants one, and if she wants to take them all, she'll have to get some damn acetone and an assembly line to make a dent in this plague I'm about to infect or censor with. I think I let my anger get the best of me. Am I the asshole for raging about my pen? And would I be the asshole for going through with my evil plan? I have a feeling I am. Not the asshole. Nobody gets their own pens isn't a thing. You paid for it and clearly labeled it. This is theft. You should ideally not use foul language in a business setting, but this doesn't seem to be the cause of any upset so far. I support your plan to order customized pens. Thieves should be shamed. Not the asshole. It may be unprofessional to have profanity like that on a pen. Not sure of your exact lab type or if you have any customer interactions. However, I used to have pens stolen a lot by others, and I know how frustrating it can be to find a pen that you really like. I taped dollar store flowers in mine. In a cup on my desk, they look relatively pretty, and no one wanted to walk around with a giant fake flower sticking out of their pocket. Your solution is a bit funnier though.